Hello lovely yogis! In today's mini masterclass we're going to be looking at our Balasana child's pose, and this is a wonderful pose, particularly if you are coming into yoga as a beginner. This is a lovely place to start. This is always an option wherever you are. If you're in a class and you're just feeling like you need to take a rest, this pose is the pose that you can keep coming back to. Just like a seated pose. It's just a really nice way of supporting your body if you're feeling tired or you just need to take a little time out. And quite often in a yoga class you'll be directed to come into a Balasana child's pose. It's a great way to support a healthy spine, which I'm a massive advocate for, and that's why I love yoga, not just for child's pose, but for supporting spine health, and yoga is just absolutely fantastic for that. I haven't really found anything else that supports a healthy spine and therefore a healthy body more. In child's pose, we start on our knees, and the idea is to set your hips down towards your heels, and depending on your flexibility, mobility, you may be here or here, but eventually you may be able to bring your hips all the way down to your heels. And wherever you're starting, child's pose is a lovely pose to come back to and keep practicing. And you'll find over time, if you do keep a regular practice, that this will become easier and you'll find more flexibility and ease in your body. So from here we want to draw a length through our spine, roll the shoulders down and away from the ears, and then we can start to hinge from our hips. And you can absolutely, if you need to, use your hands here to just guide yourself down if you need to for extra support. But we're going to hinge from the hips and start to fold over our thighs and bring our forehead down towards the mat. So we want to bring our forehead all the way down, and you might need to lift your hips away from your heels, or you might be able to keep your hips down resting on your heels, and then bring your arms by your sides, and we can just rest here. And the reason why this pose is so wonderful is that it imitates the shape of our spine when we were being created in the womb. So it's just so beautiful to reconnect with ourselves in that way. Just the way that the spine rounds naturally in this pose is like a little fetal position, and it just feels really safe and really lovely and really relaxing. Just taking a moment to be here, and you can sway your hips gently from side to side as well, and it just releases the lower back really gently and really nicely. I am going to talk about a variation of this pose which you may well have come across before as well, and if you have, in fact the variation is more commonly practiced in classes these days. So you might be wondering why I've shown this as a Balasana pose, because you might be familiar with the other variation. And actually, that variation is the extended child's pose. And the Sanskrit for that is Utthita Balasana. But quite often, yoga teachers and instructors will just abbreviate that to a Balasana, and that's absolutely fine. So we're going to just come out of this first variation of our traditional Balasana, lifting the forehead off the mat, coming out of the pose as we came into it, hinging from the hips and sitting upright, nice length and long spine. So for our next variation, our Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose, we're going to shift our position and bring our knees nice and wide. So you might bring your knees as wide as the mat, or you can bring them anywhere from touching to as wide as the mat, or even wider if that feels good for you. It's all about connecting to your body and finding what feels right. So this variation is often preferred because of the space that it provides. So if it's okay for your body to actually get into this initial position, you find that you have this additional space that wasn't there when your knees were together. It restricts your tummy. So this actually makes a nice little space for your tummy as well, and it's a position that's preferred for later stages of pregnancy as well, in your third trimester, second or third trimester. However, once you're here with your knees nice and wide, we can again draw a length through our spine, roll shoulders down and away from the ears, and once again we're going to hinge from our hips and fold our upper body forward over the legs. Setting our hips down towards our heels, they can either be raised or touching depending on your body. In our first variation we had our arms by our sides, but with our knees so wide it doesn't quite feel as relaxing and comfortable. So in this extended variation, as the name suggests, we extend our arms and then melt our forehead down to the mat, towards the mat, or maybe you can rest it on the mat as long as that feels comfortable. And you may feel the benefits of this variation kind of stretching into your back a little bit more. We don't have such a rounding of the spine as we do in the initial variation, but that rounding is still there, and it's just a lovely way to get into the lower back very gently, but just slightly more intensified than the first variation. We stretch into our shoulders and we can kind of press our hips down and just lengthen through the spine a little bit more here. But again, it's very gentle, very relaxing, as I'm sure you'll agree. And you could just stay here for a while. You can also sway the hips. Find little micro sways from side to side. You can bring the hands together in prayer and then place the base of your hands at the base of your skull, just to stretch into the shoulders a little more. That's also a nice option. So to come out of the pose, we lift our forehead nice and slowly, walk the hands into the body, and that kind of assists you to hinge up from the hips. Come out of the pose. So there you have it. That's our Balasana and Uttita Balasana variation. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.